Hi, and welcome to Optician Lesson 5, all about frames. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about frames and how important they are for vision. We're going to go over parts of an eyeglass frame, frame materials, measuring frames, and measuring the all-important pupillary distance. So with that said, let's first talk about the anatomy of an eyeglass frame. So the frame front is also referred to as chassis, is part of the frame that holds and surrounds the lenses. Also referred to as eye wires, and top and bottom of lenses can also be called rims. So if you notice in this example right here, the things surrounding the lens are called, is the chassis, is the frame front, but each one, top and bottom, can be called earpieces. End pieces are outer part of chassis where you'll find the hinges that connect the temples to the frame front. So just these are the end pieces of the chassis. Bridge is the portion of the frame that sits above the nose and comes in different sizes and shapes to accommodate the different nose shapes. So this is the bridge right here. As you can see in this illustration, temples, the sides of the frame to hold the glasses over the ear. These are the temples, and these are the temple tips. Nose pads are pads that sit on either side of the nose. They are made of hard plastic or soft silicone, most commonly in metal frames. As you can see, the nose pads right here. Now let's get into the frame materials. This is a picture from the book, The Optician's Training Manual. I highly recommend you get them. And through an upgrade version of this course, you also get the recommended reading for each lesson associated with the lectures. So let's take a look at this image right here, because you do have to know these for your ABO exam and as a good optician in general. So most common forms are, there's plastics and metal frames. In plastic, the most common ones are ZIL and Optil. They all have pros and cons, so let's look into that. ZIL is cheap and you can color it, but it is not hypoallergenic, so it is allergenic and it can weigh a lot. Optil is inexpensive, easily adjusted, easily and it is hypoallergenic. Hypo means under, allergenic means pertaining to allergies. So hypoallergenic means less allergies, or under lower allergies. Or it is hypoallergenic means this material doesn't cause allergies in most people. And it's slightly higher cost, the cons are, than ZIL, and it's brittle. It becomes brittle with age. Metal ones include nickel, titanium, and memory metal. In nickel, the pros is it's inexpensive, easily adjusted, not hypoallergenic. The cons is that it weighs a lot. Titanium is very lightweight and durable, most hypoallergenic material in the world, so it's like least allergies, but it can be expensive. Memory metal, most flexible and durable, lightweight, adjustments not easy and expensive are the cons. So measuring frames. To find the right fit, think in threes: the eye size, so think of the lens width, think of the bridge size, and the temple length. So in this illustration, as you can see, you want to measure the eye size, bridge, and the temple. And these frame sizes are also written on the temple. Note, frame measurements are usually on inside of temple. If not, you will have to measure with a special ruler called PD ruler, or pupillary distance ruler. How to measure eye size and what is the boxing system? To measure accurate eye size manually, use PD ruler to measure the rim. If the rims are shaped too difficult, use the boxing system. So as mentioned, eye size is the lens's basically size. So first you want to use the PD ruler to just measure the top and bottoms of these eyewears. But if they're a little too complicated, then you need to resort to a boxing system, which basically draws a box. It's basically drawing a box around the lens for more accurate measurements. The horizontal measurement is the A measurement, also called the datum line, which is also our eye size. The vertical measurement is the B measurement, or the height. The point at which the A and B meet is the geometric center of the lens. This you do have to know for the exam. ABO exam will have some questions about geometric center of the lens, and sometimes it's even abbreviated to GC, geometric center, GCL, geometric center of the lens. How to measure the bridges. Use PD ruler to measure from the inside of the bridge. How to measure the temple length. Use PD ruler to first measure the straight part and then the tip separately, and then add them together for correct temple measurements in millimeters. Always measure these in millimeters. The ABO exam may ask you to convert from metric measurements like millimeters and meters to US measurements like inches and feet. Measuring pupillary distance. This is a little bit difficult, but it is very important, and I'll tell you why. It is the distance between one pupil to the other. This is needed to make a pair of RX glasses because it tells the manufacturer of the glasses where to put the optical center on each lens. So this is pupillary distance going from the pupil, black part of your eye, to the other pupil and measuring that distance in millimeters. Why is it important? Because this tells us where the optical center should be in your glasses. Two types of PD are near PD and distance PD. Near PD is distance between pupils when person is looking at near object. Take into consideration convergence, which is slight inward of the eyes when a person is looking at near object. Distance PD is when looking at a far object and measuring it. How to manually measure both near and distance PD. First, let's talk about how to manually measure near PD. With the person facing you, have the person look at your left eye and place the zero of the pupillary distance ruler at the very outer edge of the person's right iris. Why the iris and not the pupil? It's pretty easy to see the edge of the iris, so I prefer using this landmark instead of the pupillary light reflex in the center of the pupil. When patients have dark eyes, it can be difficult to see the pupillary reflex. Then, without moving your hand or the PD ruler, look at the inner iris edge of the person's left iris and measure the distance in millimeters. The number you come up with should be between 50 and 70 millimeters. It's typically about 50 to 60 millimeters in children, but about 60 to 70 millimeters in adults. This would be the person's near PD measurement. How to measure distance PD now without moving your hand or the PD ruler. Ask the person to look at your right eye and read the new measurement at the inner edge of the left iris. This is the person's distance PD measurement. Pupillometer is a handy machine, so you don't always have to do it manually. There are machines for it as well. A pupillometer is a handy machine to measure near and distance PD. When you use this device, person will look through it, and all you need to do is slide the markers over the centers of the person's pupils and read the LED reading of the instrument. Pretty easy. Monocular PD is one eye's PD. When you need to take pupil measurements of just one eye, you measure the distance between pupil to the center of the nose. It is very important when you need precise measurements for strong prescriptions or progressive lenses. The only way to take an accurate monocular PD is with the machine and not manually. And I have a couple of handy videos and an infographic by Zenny Optical talking about pupillary distance and how to measure them. Why PD measurements are so important though? See, some prescriptions have thick lenses. Getting PD measurements just right is crucial, especially if a person's lenses are very thick. There's a prism in the prescription, or the person's eyes are not aligned. If the optical centers of lenses aren't ordered with the person's correct PD in these cases, the person will have little chance of seeing well, not to mention headaches and eye strains. Bifocals have little segments placed toward the bottom of the lenses. These segments contain the person's reading prescription. When the person wearing the glasses moves his or her eyes downward to read, the bifocal segments need to be in correct position based on the near PD. So the person's eyes are looking through the bifocal segments. Progressive lenses, these are like bifocals, except there are no lines visible. It's very important for an optician to measure the correct PDs for progressive lenses because many of newer progressive lenses are custom designed for each person. So in this lesson, we covered all about eyeglass frames. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to support my future lessons. And if you want to see future lessons, definitely subscribe. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Thank you.